Wow. Sometimes, it's best to just keep some things to yourself, but whatever. In an episode of, latest episode of More Than an Athlete, LeBron James was having a discussion, I guess, with some groups of friends of his, and he mentioned that he personally felt that him winning the 2016 NBA championship and coming back from the 3-1 deficit against the Golden State Warriors made him the greatest player of all time in his mind. Now, let me say this as a precursor to what I'm going to say. I think every player who's great think of themselves as the best player. Charles Barkley has said that. Kobe Bryant probably has said that. Shaquille O'Neal. All the great players should have that mindset. But to go out there and to actually say that you think that you're the greatest player of all time, you never heard Michael Jordan say that in public. You should at least have some type of false modesty. And that's something I've been noticing about LeBron lately, man. His ego is out of this world, which it should be. You'd expect that the way that he has all of these sycophants in the media, and as Kevin Durant said, all of these fanboys in the media. Like the recent statement when he said that I'm a staple of this game. That came across as very arrogant, but I let it pass, like whatever. Anybody else that have been seen as a very arrogant thing to say, let other people say that. But he says he's the greatest player of all time, and well, whatever. I mean, I guess he has a right to think that he's the greatest player of all time. But something is interesting. If LeBron James had said that 7 years ago, he'd be looked at as unlikable, a villain. But winning championships and becoming, I guess, profitable to the media can change people's perceptions of you. And there's a lot of LeBron James fans out there, so he's always going to get, nowadays, much more positive feedback from writers than he did, say, 8-10 years ago. Now, that's all I got to say about this. That was a remarkable comeback that Cleveland had against the Warriors, coming back from their 3-1 deficit. I had picked Cleveland to win that series. I got a little deterred when they went down 3-1, but I knew if James and Irving had changed their approach to that game, they would have a chance. But they did have the benefit, let's be honest, they had the benefit of Draymond Green, back when he could still fucking shoot, not play in Game 5 of that series, and then Andrew Bogut, their only real legitimate rim protector and consistent rim protector, going down with injury. I think it was in Game 5. Those were factors. Coupled with the fact that Kyrie Irving balled out of his mind in that series. Looked like Isaiah Thomas on steroids. I vividly remember that series. Anybody that doesn't have the imprint of LeBron's dick in their face also knows that. And give Kyrie Irving credit for that. And last but not least, I recall Kyrie Irving hitting the series winning shot. But yet, these fucking sports writers, and these LeBron fanboys go on and on about a fucking block that actually happened several minutes earlier in the game. But Kyrie Irving provided just about the entire winning margin of that game. And then LeBron James still nearly choked at the foul line. He missed the first free throw. The second one rattled in. But LeBron hurt his hand when he fell from the dunk attempt from Draymond Green. I never can think of any other finals where the person who made a defensive block, although important, everyone always acknowledged the championship winning shot. 1998. Of course, everyone remembers the shot that Jordan made against Byron Russell. But I don't know anybody that even brings up the fact that Ron Harper partially blocked John Stockton's three-point attempt at the buzzer. 1993, John Paxson, the biggest shot of his career. John Paxson now is an asshole as a person and general manager with the Bulls, but John Paxson hit one of the biggest shots in the history of the NBA in 1993 against the Phoenix Suns. But nobody brings up the fact that Horace Grant blocked Kevin Johnson's jumper as time expired in the last possession. 1997 NBA Finals. All right. Everyone remembers Steve Kerr when Michael Jordan got doubled. He passed to Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr's jumper near the free throw line provided the margin of victory. Everyone remembers that shot. Everybody should celebrate it. But no one remembers that Scottie Pippen, when Utah tried to inbound the ball, Scottie Pippen deflected the inbound pass to Tony Kukoc for a breakaway dunk to seal the game. Everyone remembers the offensive score. But yet everyone brings up LeBron James' block. And no one remembers what Kyrie Irving did, which was hit the game-winning shot. There's no wonder why Kyrie Irving wanted to leave. This is the toxic atmosphere that everyone talks about now. And this is what this is the type of atmosphere that Kevin Durant was talking about. And you see it in the sports media. I've never seen a situation where a guy who made a defensive play, now don't get me wrong, it was an important block, and it kind of did change the momentum of the game a little bit. But it was still a neck-and-neck game. And it was Kyrie Irving, when everybody was bricking. I remember LeBron bricking some shots toward the end of that game. Everyone was bricking, but Kyrie Irving hit a cold-blooded three-pointer. One of the greatest shots I've seen in recent times. But no one talks about that. Everyone talks about that fucking block against Andre Iguodala. Now, that was a great moment for the Cleveland Cavaliers. A great moment for Cleveland. It was the first championship in Cleveland Cavaliers history, probably the last one for a long fucking time. And the first championship for the city in 52 years since the Cleveland Browns won the NFL title pre-Super Bowl days. But there have been some other great achievements by athletes in the NBA, history. Now let's remember Bill Russell. Everyone always talks about how Bill Russell's overrated and, they should have won. They're the best team in the league. They're the best team in the league. They won super teams and all that, right? But that wasn't the case the last few years of his career. The Celtics were getting old and tired. The league had expanded. More and more great players were coming into the league in the late 1960s. You had the arrival of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Wilt Chamberlain finally was on a winning championship caliber team. The Sixers had won the title in 1967, winning a then record 68 ball games. All right. You had a new influx of great players coming into the league, athletic guys that would run a guy like Bob Cousy out the league. Like Earl the Pearl Monroe. You had Pete Maravich ready to come into the league. There was a changing of the guard, and the Celtics looked old. But But no one brings up the fact that the Celtics came back from a deficit against the Lakers to the point where the Lakers owner at the time, Jack Kent Cook, the long-term owner of the Redskins, I think he died in 1997, already had balloons in the rafters to bring down when the Lakers won a title. Champagne in the locker room. The Celtics, as old as they were and beat up, they didn't even win 50 games, I think, in 1969. Said, you want to bet? The Celtics came back in that series and won their 13th NBA championship. The last two championships, the 12th and 13th, were not easy roads to the finals, and nor were they easy championships. Michael Jordan completely retired from basketball, retired at the top of his game. 1993, averaged 41-point games in the NBA Finals, still the NBA Finals record, and came back after a 17-month absence without playing competitive basketball. And he looked rusty, did not look to be in basketball shape, and was knocked out in the semifinals. Many people said, hey, Michael Jordan was great, but he's not what he once was. I remember Nick Anderson saying, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, number 45, which is numbers that he was wearing, doesn't rev up like number 23 used to. Michael Jordan was able to come back, have an MVP season, win another championship. Then he won a fifth championship. Then he won another championship. The fact he was able to come back and dominate the game is something that no player had ever done before since. To come out of retirement and able to come back and dominate the game in a way that only they could. So to say that, LeBron is the GOAT, come on. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 1984 NBA Finals, looked old for the first time in his career. 37 years old, but he looked old against Robert Parrish. Looked a step slow, looked out of sorts, out of sync the whole series. Remember in 83, they were talking about that when Moses out-rebounded him like something like 70-34 in that 4-game sweep. 85, he came back, 38 years old, dominated in that series. Even until his last few years, when he was 42 years old, Kareem was still putting up double figures and routinely scoring 20 points, sometimes even 30 points as a 42-year-old player. LeBron, you're a great player, but you don't have to go around saying you're the GOAT. You should let other people observe you and make the determination for themselves. That's very, very arrogant for you to say that, man. Now I'm getting to kind of understand why some people don't want to play with you. That's what people are talking about. The narcissism and ego on this guy.